So last time the class was on 5th January. Today is 8th Jan 2021. Today is 8th Jan 2021. Let's start with our last lecture, incomplete last lecture about node mail sending. So let's complete that one. So I created a file called as mail routes. We have other files like example or parse route or upload. We saw example route last time where we did the CRUD operation in NodeJs application. Today we'll see how to send the mail using the CRUD, using the NodeJs, because many times we need to send the mail to the user, and we should have a functionality to send that. So let's go to the node mailer and see the documentation. Okay, let's go to node mailer. So node mailer we have to install. We completed this step, and then okay, so this is the example of the node mailer. So to run the node mailer or the email, we need the transporter. So first step is to add this transporter. This is the one time we have to add transporter one time. We should not call it every time on the request. So this is a one time. So I'll not put under any request. I'll just put outside. Now here we need to fill these details, and I put all the details here in the email settings. So let's take use of this email settings in the mail routes. So one is the host. So host will be inside config email setting host. So I'll say config dot email settings dot host. Next is the port. So port will be also here inside the port. So let's copy this, and I'll use the port here. Secure, I'll use the secure here. We have secure, then email and password. So I will be using email and password. So these are the settings for the transporter, which we have to apply only once in per node.js. Okay, then to send the email, we need this line of statement. Okay, so let's copy this one. Okay, so we'll use this part. Before using this transporter, let's create the route as we created route in the example, like this one. So I'll go to index.js. First I'll add the mail route, and then we'll do. So like I had called the example route, I will call mail routes, and I'll call here also mail routes, and all the URL which will start with API mail will go to the mail routes. So if in the URL I put API mail, it will go to the mail routes. I'll take one URL, a sample, to see my mail is working or not. And here I'll give example or test. So this test and the test here are different. This test is directly on the root level, but anything inside the mail route will be having the URL of API mail, and then there will be test. So this URL will call this routing part, and I will test this part here. So I will take the example here. So I'll just make this as a constant, and I will use this info here to display it to the user. Now I'll change the from address. So maybe I can say from anything, and to, I will change it to this my email address, and this is fine. All this is fine. And now let's run it. Before running, I'll see the terminal if there is any error or not. So it looks like there is error. It's using the await. Here we are using await, so we should have asynchronous part here. Okay, let's check. This is some error. Cannot find the module config. So config is one level back. So let's do .config. Okay, now it's running fine. Let's go to this URL. I'll go to the localhost. Since it is on the Node.js, well, we'll use 133.7 or 8. Let's check what is the port. I use 337. API mail test. Okay, so I'm getting the success true. Info is accepted. Okay, I'm seeing two email. Okay, we are sending to two email, bar and example.com, and this one. Let's remove the first one. Right now we are sending to two email. I did not delete this part, so it's here. Rejected is nothing envelope. When we get some information from the mail server that it went successfully with the message ID of this one. So this is the message ID. So just instead of info, I will just put message ID. Refresh it. Okay, it's not started, I think. Yeah, now I got it. So it got success, and we have the message ID. So this is a sample. This is a sample one. Let me check the mail if I have received it. Yeah, so I got the email. Since I called it 2 times, so I'm getting 2 times. So this is the first one, hello world, with the subject. Second one with this one. So this is the email, we got it. So we can send attachment also if we If we see more examples, we'll get attachment also. So for attachment, generally we will not be using attachment in our real world project, but I'll show you the attachment part. So if I want to use attachment, I can add, I have the two text here. One is the text format, one is the HTML format. Some email support the HTML part, so they will be using this one, and those who are not supporting that, they will be using this part. Now let's try to add the attachment. There I will say attachments. It is an array, and inside that you can add multiple attachments. And the first attachment will be file name. So I have to create some file name and the path. So what will be the real path of your image will be? Okay, so this is the path. Let's try to add the path. Okay, let's take another path. Okay, I'll take this path here. This is the URL which will be called, and what name you want, test.png. You can give any name you want. Let's add another image. So this one I will name it as test2, and I'll take another image. Okay, so we have two attachments. Now I will test it with these two attachments. Okay, it went successfully. Let me check now email. So I got email with two attachments. Both are here. This is how we send the email. Now we'll create one URL which will be generic, so that I can send email from my application. So I'll create one more route now. Let's copy this part. So I will create a post request, because sometimes the HTML is too much big. Okay, and so I'll create a few variables before I use it. Okay, what are the variables I'll use it? One will be since I'm using async, I should always use try catch block. So I'll be creating few variables, for example, from. So this will be passed in the post request, request.body.from. If it is not sent, I'll just make it empty for now. But it is required. I can force user to send this one. Constant to request dot anything which comes as a post request will come in the body. Anything which comes as a GET request will come in the query. Constant subject, all will be passed by the user. Text. So this will be the pure text. And next will be the HTML part, that is request pod body dot request dot body dot HTML. Or if it is not there, I will use the text one, this text one. So if someone has not passed the HTML, I will use the text one, otherwise I'll use the HTML part. Then I will use this info. In the info, I will change from is from. Since both are same, I can use one only, and 2 is 2, so I'll remove this part, because 2 is equal to 2. Both are same name, so we don't need 2 times. Subject, text, and HTML. We are not using attachment, so I'll remove the attachment part. And once it is sent, I will be using something here that it is successfully sent. So I'll put message ID, and I'll also put whatever user has sent. So maybe I can say from to subject, text, and HTML. So whatever user has sent, I will just passing it back here to let user know what he has sent. And if it is failed, I'll say success equal to false, message ID equal to null. I'll repeat all this one, and I'll just put error equal to error dot message. So I will be sending this information if it is failed. Okay, now since it is a post request, we need this tool to send the post request. So let's create the new request, and the URL of the new request will be post, and JSON URL will be simple slash. We have slash only like this, and then we will be adding here. We'll be adding here all the information. So for example, I will say from will be admin, for example, and here I'll say I'll give any email which I want, but generally it goes with the email. Many mail application does not allow custom from, so they will be actually sending the email from the email which you have, this one. So from is just for the namesake. Previously, whatever you gave, they were taking that, so the user was not able to know who has really sent it. Now, because of security concern, though I'm passing from, it's actually going from this one. I will put two address. So 2 will be my email address. Next will be subject. I'll say testing mail application. And the text will be, this is body. Then HTML part. So here I'll put HTML part, bold, hello world, bold. This is body. So if the mail application can accept the HTML, they will see this part. Some mail application cannot accept the HTML part, they will be able to see this part. So let's try to send and see. Okay, couldn't connect to the server. Let's check the server if there is error or not. Okay, let me save it again. Okay, so we have the error, app is not defined. 16 number line. So this app is not defined, we have to use router. Are we getting any error? No. Okay, now it's fine. Let's try now. Okay, so now I get the success message, I get the message ID, and I get the prompt to subject text HTML. So we are getting this message correctly. So now let's check the email. Okay, so this is the email I got. Admin hello world, this is body. So we are getting the HTML mail. So now I will just put some comment so that I should know what to do when I want to send email. So many times I will be sending email from my web application that successfully submitted the post or whatever I want to send the email. I can use this one. I will use this information. I'll just put it in the comment so that I should remember how to send it. So just put the information, and tomorrow if I want to send the mail, I'll create a post request with this information, and this is the URL, like we did in our to-do application. So we can try there also. So let's try to do in our to-do application. Now we'll use this information in our to-do application. So let's go and use this information. So this is my to-do application which I did last time. So I'll be sending mail once user put the task. I will also send the email. So here I will say, I'm just copying. I'll delete this part. Let me first copy the information. So I'll use this XS again. And what will be the URL? URL will be API mail. And the data part will be this one. Okay, so data part is this one. We don't need double quote here. Since it is JavaScript, we don't need double quote. Okay, so what I will be sending? New task created. So as soon as I create a task, I will say new task created as a subject. And here I will say you have successfully created a new task, and the new task is, so what is the new task? I will put it here. And what is the new task? Task is this one. Okay, same thing I will do it here in the HTML. I don't concerned about the HTML part here. I just want to send a message. So these two are same. And header will be application JSON. So we will test this part now. So as soon as I create task, I should get a new mail. Okay, let's try to this. Let's check the network panel also. Okay, go to gym. So I'm getting one example where I create the task, then I send the mail, and mail is also success, and then I get request to get the detail. Okay, these two are created. Let's check the email now. One second. Okay, so one second. So let's take the email. So you will see you have successfully created the new task. The new task is test, and here is saying you have successfully created new task. New task is go to gym. So we are sending the email also as soon as the task is created. So this is the one example of so using this email part, and we will be using a lot when we build application. We will always send this email whenever needed. Okay, give me 2 minutes. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so this is all about the mail one. Do you have any questions about the mail? Yesterday,
Manish, we do that email verification, no? Like there will be a link.
yeah.
So how to do that?
The email verification, yeah. We have not done that part. So the email part in our pass server, we don't have to send our custom email. It is integrated in the pass server. So let's do that one. Let me check you. I might have. Okay. Let me check you. What is that? Okay, so we have the forgot your password and handle forgot password. So we have done this part. You remember that? This is a email verification. Or you're saying email verification of forgot password or email verification when user register?
When usually it is the first time register, user register checks, we'll be sending a link to them and clicking on that there will be activation of an email.
Yeah, so we don't send that link to them. It's sent by pass server. It is internally built in the pass server.
What in case if you are using other than pass server, because here you are using databases.
So then everything will be, your own. So if you're not using the password, then you have to build the backend API where, you have to, if you're not using the pass server, then let's say this is the database, not the pass server database. I'm just showing you. So here you have to create a field. That will be then there will be custom one. I'll just give the high level, but since we're not doing that, let me put it here. So when user registers in pass server, there is inbuilt mechanism to send the email and verify it. If it is not a pass server, then you have to do manually all the steps. So what are the steps? So when you register, you put data in database. So you can create one unique code and put that unique code as a separate field. In database. Now, when you save the information, okay, after you save the information in database, you send the email like we are sending now, like I created now the send one, the one which I created here, for example, this one. You send the email, this one, but you have to send with your custom link. So send the email with some link like your domain, whatever your domain is. Then you can create a path, whatever path you have created, for example, API confirm. Thus I'm giving you sample with code equal to whichever the code you created here, unique code. This is the link you have to send with the email. So here you can say to confirm your email, click the following link. So you have to build this URL also, and when they click this one, you have to update the database. Once they will, you have to create the code here. So for example, in index.js, I will create a URL API confirm email, for example. With the GET request. and here I'll say send. Click here. No, this is a confirmation. So here you will go to database, check the code, because code will come here like this. Code equal to unique code. This will come here like this. So you don't have to put this question mark, but this one will be the real URL. So user will go to this URL, and here you can get the code like this. Constant code equal to request dot. Since it is a get query, so we'll say query.code. So this is a code which user has passed it. You take this code and match it with database, and if it is matching, you update the field. So this will be another field. Email verified equal to true. And if code is not matching, then you give some error. So this is how you manage the custom code. Okay, so you have to write all the steps for that.
Manish, I have a question here. Like, see this again, when we are clicking on that link, this API will be called?
This will be called, right?
Okay. Okay.
And here you have to write the code of the database that you connect the database and do stuff.
Okay.
So this URL will go in the email. So user will get this email. So, and here this is the URL they will get. This is the URL they will get. So when they click this URL, they are going to this part, and here you have to put all the logic. And after completion of logic, you give the success method and update the database that user has verified the email successfully.
Okay.
So,
and Murli, could you, Manish, could you briefly explain right from the register how the flow works when user is creating an account for the first time?
So you are talking about the custom one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me put it in document so that you can see. Okay, so you want to see when user register, right, and login and all, right, with the custom database.
Yes, yes.
So here is the flow. So user will see register link, login link, forget password link, and change password link, and log out, something like that. We're not dealing with change password right now. Right now, if someone has to change the password, he can call for the forget password and he will get the link to put the new password. So the register will have some fields like email, or I can add more: username, email, password, confirm password. So these are the fields which he will be putting. He may put additional fields like name, gender, whatever you want to take, you can take it. So this will be in the React. So this is the client side. So URL will be like HTTP localhost, for example, 3000. In the real world, the domain will be same, but for our development purpose, it will be like this. Let's say I will say register. This is the URL. He will put all the details. When he will submit the form, it will go to the following URL. It will send the AJAX request to the following URL. In the real world, the domain will be same, because we build the client side and integrate in the backend. It will call the backend API user register, for example. So this is a custom URL. You have built it. Here, so you will first check all the fields are there or not. So first step will be validate the fields. So how to validate? You will see if username is not there, give error. If not username, give error. Like this, you will check all the fields. After validation, second part will be check if username exists. So with the pass server, we have the limitation. We can only check the username, but here in our custom one, we can check username, email, both, if it exists or not. So how to check? Take the username and match it in database, and if it exists, give error. So to take the username, match it in the database, if it exists, give error. If it does not match, then comes the next part. You check if email exists already. So take email, match it in database, and if it exists, give error. If there's no error, then go to the third step. Third step will be add or insert record in the database. So you have to take all this information and put it in the database. Okay, this one, all this information. So after you put all this information database, next will be send email. So here you can say you have successfully, this email will be like this, successfully registered to our website. Please click following link to verify your email, and then you create a link. So it will be API users, for example. I'm changing the link here because initially I'm putting everything in the users part now. Confirm email, and with the code equal to unique code. This unique code you have to generate it. So before inserting the record, generate unique code and also insert that in DB. So generate a unique code along with all data which you put in the database. You have to put this unique code also in the database, and you have to build this. You have to build the URL like this. Now when user will click this link, it will go to your route with API user confirm email. This will be the route in your NodeJs using the get method, and here you get the code. So like we did previously, get the code. We get the code like this, and once you get this code, match it with the database. and if it matches, just update another field in database called as new field will be email verified. Default value will be false, and here you can make it true and update the database and give the message to the user that email verified, please log in. So this is a message will be given, and if it is not matching, you can give the error, code is incorrect, please correct the code, something like that. After this is done, that means user is registered properly, you go to the login page, build the login page where you have only username and password. Once they will put this username password, match these two with database, and once you get the result, you can check email verification is there or not. If it is not there, then you can give error like please verify the email. And if it is there, then you just log in. Now to log in, you need to understand that in NodeJs there is a login called as session login or JWT. So if you are using this REST client, then the session login will not work. Session or cookie login will not work. Okay, you need to use JWT if you are using this tool like this one, REST call. But if you are using this from your browser, that is from the React application, then you don't need JWT. You can directly use session or cookie. And to do this session cookie, I will take another session, but I will give you in short. Let's talk about the cookie part now, because session needs additional packages in the NodeJs, which we need to install and use that packages. Otherwise, cookie will be, you have to, when you log in, when you log in here, you can save the information, save the username and user ID in the cookie. So once we are successful with this step, save the user ID and username in cookie. Okay, and then whenever you go to successive pages, you can check in the React also, you can check if cookie exists, then it means user is logged in. Okay, so this is how we do cookie, but better than cookie is using the session or JWT. Session is something we put some packages in the Node.js and put this information in the session, and whenever user request again from the client side, we check if session exists, that means user is logged in and we do the things. If session does not exist, then we say it's not logged in. Or in the JWT, you create a token on the server side and send back to the user, and user will save this token in the cookie. So client will save JWT token in cookie itself. You don't have to do on the server side. user will do on the client side. That is client application. Our React application will do in the client side. And next time, whenever we call the backend, we pass this JWT token, and server will confirm that this JWT token is correct or not. If it is correct, it will think that it's a proper logged in user, otherwise not. So this part is something, if we do, you will understand better. But right now, this is the high level information. In the forget password, you just forget password is also, you can do multiple ways. If you have saved this password in the normal text format, visible, some people do that, then you can take this password and send the email to the user that you have this password with text normal password. Send email to user with his password. But if this is encrypted, if you save the information in the encrypted method, so if password is encrypted, so you don't have the access of the password, so you can create a new password temporarily and send it to user and update that in database also. This is one way. Or you can create a new form where user will click the link and then they can change the password, something like that. So this is a high level information how to do the register login and forget password. So if user want to click logout, just whatever method you have saved, let's say session, you remove it from session, cookie, remove it from the cookie, JWT, you delete the JWT token so that user cannot re-login. Okay, got it?
Yeah, thanks Manish. That was helpful.
Okay, so if you have any questions, this thing, if you really need, you can do, but because I don't want to take this, because this is something very simple one, and I don't want to waste time, but if people really want it, I will be showing you this one, how to do this part really in this real thing. So maybe sometime in future I will show you how to do exactly, but this part definitely I'll show you JWT token. This part is simple, just insert record is there and is getting the record, so you can do it. The only challenging thing is JWT token. This is also not challenging, but I will show this part also. So this part I'll show you, which is really need concentration. Otherwise, rest is very simple. You can try. If you get stuck, I will show you that also.
Okay.
So that's it for today. Actually, what happened, I sleep sometime. 1 second. Let me